Slab Hub.
Hey there, comic friends and fiends. It's Rob, and of course, with me as always, the man to my left, right, depending on which side which way you're looking at it. Chris, the comic vet. How are you doing this weekend?
Good. How are you?
I am just ducky.
Good. Was I making you nervous?
Is that still a term? What?
Was I making you nervous?
Oh yeah. For those of you guys weren't, Chris joined the stream to get ready here with less than 60 seconds to launch, which is not completely unusual, but it is still cutting it closer than he usually does. So
I apologize. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me say it the Canadian way. Sorry.
So sorry about boot that.
So that's more of a Quebec thing, but yeah. Okay.
Let's bring in the man of the hour here, Mr. 1,000 subscribers, Mr. We Are Legion Mark. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm ready for this beating.
Beating. Well, it's not really a beating as much as it is just, unfortunately, the last two guests have brought some massive amounts of heat.
We're here to reset the bar today,
but it's not a competition. Even if Chris probably has his ASM 1 on standby just to pull it out, because it has been like 4 weeks in a row that he's pulled it out. So
I intentionally only pulled 27 graded copies of Power Ranger books. We're going to set the bar extremely low today.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Let's say hello to a few folks in the chat here. Lascrucius, as always, with us. Happy to have you as a regular staple in the show there. Chop and Drop, same thing there, my friend. Becker, hashtag We Are Legion, without a doubt. And Adrian, Panda Awesome 316. See, I love that Mark's going to watch this on the rewind. That's phenomenal. But hey, I tend to watch my own when I guest on things. I watched my appearance on Whack Comics a few times now. Dale of Suspense, how you doing? Thank you for coming on. Ignacio here, and Sapphire Glade Comics, Cat Fan Comics, Nos Feast here. Thank you very much all for coming in. Of course, as usual, we will have we'll pause about halfway through. So Mark, who's talking to his wife right now at the moment, about halfway through, Mark will let us know that we're about the halfway mark, and we'll pause to do our giveaway, our first of 2 giveaways, 5 book pulls, and we will then do another one at the end, shipping included in North America. So if Ignacio, if you win, we'll have to figure something out. Let's see, Brian LCS is here. Stephen C, welcome guys. Thank you for joining on up. All right. So without further ado, this is Slab Hub. We're here to see the sexy. And even though we said that, we did bring Mark with us anyways. And that is okay. Sometimes you settle.
Oh, that's not true. He's got.
That's right.
I was just going to compliment him on his hair, and then he shut himself down, so I'm going to leave it alone.
Well, he does have the most luscious locks of anyone in the live stream today.
I just woke up from a nap. I'm the only one with locks in a lot of live streams.
This is also sad but true.
Yeah. All right. So, Mark, you're going to take us on a journey today. Now, do you consider yourself a slab collector or mostly a raw book collector?
Oh, raw, for sure. Raw.
And if you were to guesstimate how many slabs you have in your collection?
I think that I counted the other day when we were having this conversation. I think I got like 50 something, right?
Okay, so we're going to see we're going to see just over half your collection.
I've only been buying slabs for like maybe a little bit over a year, and yeah.
When you go to look at a slab or to have a book, submit a book to be slab, what makes you make that decision to take this one and encase it in carbonite, so to speak?
I don't know, like because kind of got set up with like a little shelf and everything where I can actually present them to enjoy them more. They just look better presented. And a lot of stuff that when I started looking for bigger books, it seemed like buying stuff already graded was kind of a safer bet, even though you might pay more. You weren't gambling as much.
It was a
Like,
known entity quantity
Yeah,
type of thing. Yeah. No, I've thought
paying
about
more
that.
with gambling less.
I have that sometimes with certain books, and sometimes I've thought, I'm surprised from that standpoint almost on some of these bigger books where you don't necessarily want to do that. You don't see more raw grades and stuff out there in the. I don't think I've ever stumbled across a raw grade book listed anywhere, but anyways, there we go. Now we can officially begin because James Willie's here to win the prizes now. And of course, we're joined with us, the White Shadow.
Hey, Chip.
All right. So, Mark, go ahead. We're going to go ahead and sit back. We'll take us on a journey through some of your slabs here. Again, we'll get about the halfway mark. Let us know. Chris and I will jump in at certain points, may ask you questions about the book or as we go. And let's and for the audience at home who's playing the home game, if you have any questions about any of the books that you see, by all means, throw them in the chat there. And if you have any questions about grading in general, by all means, feel free. We're here to educate.
Mark, are you more of a CGC man, a CBS or CBCS man, or you just don't care?
We'll definitely get into that as the story progresses.
Okay.
Ooh,
and here's the drama building right there, folks.
So if you want to know the answer to Chris's question, be sure to stick around. Hashtag watch hour to Rob. Y'all ready? First book up is I grabbed intentionally the first graded book that I've ever owned. So I'm a huge Incredible Hulk fan. I'm a huge Superman fan. So with Hulk, like my ultimate grail, like for any comic book, is an Incredible Hulk issue #1 because it's obtainable, whereas an Action Comics is not obtainable. I do collect all the actual reprints of that, but so I went out looking for an Incredible Hulk 102, which is essentially the issue 1 of his ongoing after the original 6 issues. So I did grab one of those in a CBCS 6.0, and that's from 1968. I actually scored this out of a local shop here in Augusta called Top Dog, and I had been in the shop before and seen numerous ones that have kind of come through over time, and they were all graded. And I wasn't wanting a graded book, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I was like there when one came in at one point, and it wasn't graded and it wasn't available to be purchased yet because it kind of just got there. I'm like, I definitely would want that book. He's like, all right, I'll let you know when it's for sale, blah, blah, blah. Sometime later, here it is for sale. I'm like, dude, why did you get it graded? He's like, well, there's books that I get graded. I'm like,
I would have saved you the hassle. You could have had your money right then and there.
I wouldn't even have graded it, but I even bought it with the intention of taking it out of the slab and putting it in a bag and board and putting it into the box. But then I just thought, you know what, forget it. I'm just gonna leave it in there. But so that was the first one that I actually ever bought.
Very cool. Have you read that book?
No, it's in a case, Chris.
That doesn't mean you couldn't have gotten a digital copy or a reprint or.
That's where I was going.
It's snug too.
CBCS slabs are a little bit difficult to break into. I had to break into one the other day.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
Yeah, Austin busted into one last night. We were on some just hangout. I think you were there at one point, but he cracked open a CBCS slab and it did not go gently into the night. Like just a piece of it sharded off.
Yeah, same thing happened to me. Yeah, and their inner seal they seal really close to the book, so you have to be really careful with the razor blade when you're slicing.
Well, y'all ready for the next book? Oh, Chris, your question. Yeah, I can't tell you if I have read that book or not. I've got tons and tons of like collected volumes of Hulk and essentials and stuff and all that I like open and close all through the years, but I have no clue which ones I've actually read out of the runs. Like there's specific pointed little story arcs and stuff that I can remember reading, but I don't remember that one specifically, that 102 at all.
Okay.
All right, so after a while, I kind of got where I'm like, all right, I want to send some stuff in myself. And the first time I sent any books in, it was through that same shop where they facilitate and do submissions to CBCS, which he does fantastic. He doesn't like rip people off at all. It's $35 for a fast pass, full shipping included both directions, and they put insurance on everything, obviously. So that's like he's pretty much making a buck or two on each book kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
So the only way you'd be losing any kind of real money doing it yourself is if you submit a large amount at one time, opposed to just one or two. Because then
I
it'd be the
highly
shipping.
recommend. We've talked about it before. I highly recommend if you've never slabbed books before and you want to, and you're getting ready to do your first submission, to potentially, if you don't have somebody that's local to you, that's a friend that's done it, that's familiar with it, then by all means work with your local comic book shop at least on your very first submission. They're going to be able to give you some good advice as to which books when you think certain books you think you want to have done. They'll be able to give them a look over. They'll be able to give you guidance on, no, that's really not going to grade out the way you think it is, or hey, this one should be pressed, this one doesn't need a press, and that type of stuff. And most shops I've seen really don't charge much more than what the rates are posted, on the CBSS or CGC. If you go direct, they obviously get their discount and a little bit of margin in there, but they're really more about trying to spur additional collection and get you into other stuff. So
trying to get you to come back to the shop and spend money, look for stuff to send off.
Right.
Buy these 1 in 25s that drop every week that a lot of them just build up in our backlogs.
Right.
Well, this next book is one that I submitted through them myself. I think I sent in 3 books when I sent them in. And I'll probably get to some of those. I don't remember what I pulled for this, but this was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover from Boom Studios. And it's #1, and it's the second print ratio variant. So this is actually like one of my favorite covers of a book that I own. Like the Green Ranger is my all-time favorite Power Ranger, huge Power Ranger fan. And Shredder holding the helmet. This is kind of an iconic image that got done to death. They drug it through the mud more than those Gleason Webhead variants where a character is holding the helmet in the front, but that purple with the green, I mean, those two colors just come together like butt cheeks. You know what I mean?
It's like the Joker.
Exactly, the Joker. Yeah. So that one I submitted through the shop myself. I did not have it pressed. I was aware of pressing and stuff, not really aware of the importance of it, nor caring. Like my mindset was, this is a modern book. I mean, super modern at the time. Like the series wasn't even over with when I submitted this. So if this wasn't pulling a 9.8, there's maybe submitting wasn't for me. Because if you have to,
who's the cover artist for that one? Sorry,
Tony Montez.
Okay.
Yeah, but sometimes even with ultra modern books, sometimes just because of the shipping and handling between the distributor to the store, putting it on the shelf, depending on what they're doing.
Well, I completely understand that, and I recognize
a press because it sucks to not press a book and get a 9.6 back when the only defects are that there's some waviness in the cover, and you're like, oh, son of a gun.
Yeah, well, that's one thing that I was definitely aware of. Like those, like Marvel covers tend to be extra wavy. The paper quality is not quite as high, and the ink does that to them. It's essentially water damage. But with this book, it had none of that. I was looking at the book. I'm like, it doesn't have any of the little feathering on the corners, that happen a lot from where they're just raw books sitting in a box. But it worked out fine. But not long after that, I did buy some low grade is better than no grade books. And the next 3 of these that I have all go into the same story, where I got these books from different places and they were all vastly damaged. And I thought, let me test out this clean and presser guy at CBCS. I was hearing great things about him, how he's like the best of the best in the industry, that he's not just like a comics guy, he's a paper guy. Like he was doing other paper stuff before then. And I think his name's like Richter or something like that. I just remember Total Recall or something. But I sent these next 3 off through CBCS to have them clean and pressed by them and back. And the turnaround time wasn't bad. It was like 3 or 4 months total. But this one is a Ghost Rider #1, the first appearance of Son of Satan in cameo. So that one came like this was, it was in super bad shape. I mean, you can see it's missing the chip on the corner, but it was, it looked like it got folded up and put in someone's back pocket, and then someone tied a rope to their foot and drug them behind a horse. But
it was a book of the 70s, man. It wasn't all about doing prizes and cash.
No, really, what we're talking about. But yeah, that is still an awesome cover. It presents very well.
Yep.
The colors and everything are on it. And dude, I'll be honest with you guys, I'd rather spend a lot less money and get a lower grade, because this stuff isn't for sale. This is stuff for me. I grew up loving Ghost Rider, and it was a no-brainer. I scored this from a local shop called Dead Media Collectibles. It's a second time around store.
That's a great book.
Yeah. So this next one kind of goes. This one, I figured something was up. I bought this one from the shop where they do the submissions, right? And it wasn't graded. He had it up on as a wall book that wasn't graded. And I asked him specifically, why didn't you get that book graded? He goes, I don't know. I just haven't. I didn't think it. Didn't want to do it. I'm like, that doesn't hold consistent. So I was looking at it. It had massive cover roll on it, or spine roll, and it was a little faded. Had some foxing on it. And I'm like, well, I'll get it anyways, and I'll send it off to get cleaned and pressed. Because like I said, these all went together. So different books with different problems, going in and seeing how they did with it. And this is a New Teen Titans #2, first appearance of Slade Wilson, a.k.a. Deathstroke the Terminator, and it came back a 4 or 5. Now, I actually expected this one to come back about a 6. It has no, like, rips or tears or anything. I've got stuff with similar, like, foxing on the spine. But when you look at the back, this is why I have not sent anything into them to get cleaned or pressed again. You can see that overlap still on it.
Yeah.
It's almost like that one of Chris's that you can read while it's still in the slab.
Yeah.
But
I have more than one, sadly,
the
like
O.J.
that.
Simpson ad on the back.
yeah, hashtag the juice. You know what I'm saying?
Get those
Former Buffalo Bill. All right.
dingo boots.
And for any of those out there, if you have any information on the whereabouts of the man who killed O.J. Simpson's former wife, he's still on the loose.
And her friend.
Her friend, Ron Goldman. So
Yes.
that criminal is still at large, and O.J. is still grieving over that. So
Sad but true.
Hashtag never forget. So I love Deathstroke, great character, but all in all, this book had too much money put into it from the purchase, the clean and press of the service to warrant that grade. You know, at that grade, it's about like a $75 book on a good day. You know, like on a real good day. I think
Sometimes it's not about the value though. I mean, I have some ASM books that I put in that. It's like if you were to sell them, you might be lucky to break even, but it's more about, that's for my collection and I want to preserve it. I don't want it to degrade any worse than it is, type of thing.
Yeah. And it is a newsstand. That's cool. And again, it's my copy, and it was just used as an experiment for me to see how they do. And then the final one I sent in with that same submission, bought from that shop. Again, raw, so I assumed there was something wrong with it, but it's not a bad copy. It came back in 8.5, and that's Secret Wars #8 newsstand.
Ooh,
I think
no
everybody
idea you had that book.
What? Yeah, I've got a lot of books.
He's got one that's got no signatures on it, Chris, which we've been
I
saying
am impressed.
is almost
They're
rare
rare
these days.
Rare. This is
They're rare.
Yeah, and it's a newsstand. Look at that.
Funny thing, as a Spider-Man collector, I do not own that book.
Yeah, well,
My
can
copy's
you
not-
really
So
call yourself?
Mark, we need to work out a trade.
You don't?
Can you really
I got-
call yourself a Spider-Man collector?
I
then,
got
Chris?
2 copies,
You know?
Chris.
Well, hold on, Mark. Do I need to pull out a book to show how much
I mean,
of a Spider-Man collector I am?
You can show us how you're on your way to being a Spider-Man collector. But
Right.
until you have Secret Wars 8.
Chris, I might be able to help you out. I got 2 copies.
Do ya?
Yeah.
Okay.
What I have the second one is supposed to be coming back from. They're both triple signed though.
Oh, see, they're
Sorry.
Yeah. So let's see what's next. All right, so this one is the first appearance of pretty much everybody's favorite villain, and this one was purchased from Dead Media Collectibles again, and it's I submitted this one without cleaning press and just submitted it as some of the, like I said, how that one book was in like that first order of submissions I did with that Power Ranger book. I sent some other stuff in, just kind of, it was like a kind of just birdshot, just send a little bit of this, a little bit of that in. Send that Power Ranger, send some Marvel, some DC, just have a little variety since this was like going to be the first submission. But I'd actually be able to present some of the books that I had, And it's the first appearance of literally everybody's favorite villain. And yes, E-Man, he is he's a C-list villain. It's the first appearance of the Master Marauder himself. Daredevil issue 16. First appearance of the Master Marauder. And this is also the first time John Romita drew Spider-Man. Chris, do you have this one, Spider-Man collector?
No. That as a Spider-Man collector, I wouldn't buy a Daredevil book.
Yes, you would. It's first John Romita Sr. right there, drawing Spider-Man.
But I have the first appearance of Daredevil in Spider-Man.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm getting so much glare on this specific one. But yeah, I'm sorry for the glare, but stay for the stories. Come for the glare, stay for the stories.
Yeah,
But yeah,
sometimes
I love this cover. I love this isn't one of those multimedia covers where you have a photorealistic background, but for a while, a lot of the titles were doing this thing, and Kirby did it a lot over at DC, where you get the background as like a black and white photorealistic thing with the two characters just popping out. I love those. Enter SpiderMan, which I can't think of a more appropriate little banner for Slab Hub than Enter SpiderMan.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Just try to relax.
Kudos.
Yeah. Just breathe. Just breathe. So the next one from is this starting to answer your question a little bit, Chris, that you asked earlier?
Yeah, I'm getting the flavor.
Yeah. So this was the DC submission I did with that one. Didn't clean and press it. Got it for a super good deal. I think I paid like $10 for this book raw, and one of my top 5 characters ever. Like legit love this guy. It's from 1972, and this is from Jack the King Kirby himself when he went over to DC Comics to really start bigger and better things for them over there.
Is he a pretty good artist?
My God, is he? Because the first appearance of Etcher and the Demon, I love this character, man. He is, dude. And even now in those the small appearances we get in Justice League Dark and the backup stories for the regular Justice League title, he's just, man, he's awesome. He's so cool, so cool. Ooh. But I love that cover.
No, that's a classic cover.
And look at the perspectives that Kirby uses. It's like we're looking up at the top of the castle, and how you can see the castle, and he's just coming down at you. He's not coming forward at you; he's literally coming from above you. That's so cool.
He's got quite a bit of a long left hamstring, but
yeah, but the whole body dysmorphia and everything was something that he was known for.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean? He did not draw anatomically correct, and it was awesome. So kind of keeping with
a lot of artists today don't draw anatomically correct.
No,
especially when it comes to women.
Keeping with some DC Kirby, I have this book raw, and I found this one for a great price, and just went ahead and bought it because it was a high graded copy, and my raw copy is going to end up going back out into the wild as part of my 1,000 subscriber giveaway that'll be announced soon. Shameless plug, but this is a early CGC case. And this is a Commandee Last Boy on Earth in an 8.5 with that old label on it.
Right.
So these are their old cases. Yeah, but right? Look at that. Again.
Love it.
Again, it's just amazing.
What's the grade on that one?
This is an 8.5.
I was going to say, you can't really see it on those old labels.
Yeah, you can.
8.5.
Nice.
8.5. That's not bad, right?
That'd be one of those ones where I would consider potentially cracking out, pressing, and having it resubmitting it.
I'm pretty sure I could crack it and just put it back in here.
Those old ones crack easy, but I mean,
I have no desire to do any CPR on any of my books because I know it's one of those things. If it ever comes a day when you need to sell your books for an emergency to have some extra cash, you're going to wish you did. But I'm just. The way that turnaround times are and stuff like that is just.
Oh yeah, no, it's not a quick.
Valentine's Day, 2023.
Yeah, we're sticking with old labels and everything. That's what the CGC old labels look like for those who haven't seen it. But CBCS has gone through a ton of different upgrades over the years. They went from upgrading their labels to finally upgrading their cases, and finally getting to where they are now. But here is an original case with an old label for CBCS, and this is the first appearance of Mark Shaw, which is the second Manhunter. The Manhunters are known as the android force from the Green Lantern universe. That's the third iteration of the Manhunters. Mark Shaw was the second, and his first appearance was in this awesome series called DC First, where every issue spotlighted a different character, and Kirby had 3 different first DC characters in those. He had Atlas, the something gang, the Dingbats, and then Mark Shaw Manhunter, which that's a severed head nailed to a post on the cover. So that is just
look at that spike, yeah,
it's amazing classic Kirby artwork there.
So look at this. We got some folks in the chat that didn't know never heard of Commandee, never heard of
really.
Never heard of.
Wow.
Commandy
Oh,
is actually
Right.
Omac's grandson. Yeah, like Omac from DC Comics, it's his grandson because Commandy is this whole like alternate future where he's
Oh,
literally
never heard of the demon.
Wow.
Yeah, it's Merlin's brother is the demon. But yeah, that one's a good one. And if you're looking for a raffle,
Oh yeah, those Daisy air rifle ads on those backs of
as
those.
a matter of fact, if you're looking for
a
a
lot of
real rifle, be sure to follow Hoarder's Hide on Instagram because he's actually selling raffle tickets right now. $100 a ticket. There's 7 spots left, and man, your chances of winning are huge. And what you can win is an amazing prize. He's not an arms dealer. He's just doing a what's it called where you raise money for stuff.
That's difficult for California.
Yeah.
So your country is fascinating.
Rob,
No, both the United States is fascinating.
Raffle, yeah.
I'm just having a raffle for a rifle. You're doing
no, it's like 8 to 10 firearms from handguns to actual
right. That's
You-
right.
you
I
remember
remember seeing
Sporting
like,
sporting
that,
rifles to assault
that
rifles.
blows my mind.
I get emails from Springfield in my junk in my my promotion box. Like every week, there's a new. Oh, hey, here's this new.
Like, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. There are arms dealers across Canada. Like everyone enjoys a long arm or a handgun, whatever it is, whatever that floats their boat. But a raffle.
What about a short arm, Chris?
What about a short arm?
Do people enjoy those as well as the long arms?
Well, if you want to get into definition,
Depends
we
on
can
how
do
far you
that.
have to reach around. Now that we're back on Slab Hub. All right, Mark. What's next up on the slab topic?
Probably DC Kirby's greatest creation. So he did so much over at DC that just
Bring it.
kept going. You know what I mean? He just stuff that resonates today that has defined like so much of what the DC universe is. It all started in this book, and this is where CBCS was in this weird transitional phase. They have their old cases with their new current labels, and this is Superman pal Jimmy Olsen, number 134 in a CBCS 7.0. What this is the first appearance of Darkseid.
Say it
Now,
right.
we're not splitting hairs here. This is the first appearance of Darkseid, which has a very convoluted rollout with cameos across here and there. His first full appearance is in Forever People number 1. I don't know if I pulled that book for this or not, but I do have that. I'm like a 6'5", but yeah, I didn't want to grab. I wanted to have a little bit of this and that, like.
But
So that's
this
the
is
old
his
cases with
first
the new one.
appearance.
Yeah, this is his literal first appearance without splitting the hairs.
Right.
Like if you
Beautiful.
ask DC Comics or people that work on the books, like, yeah, he first showed up. And since this is in case, I would like to show you what his first appearance looked like. So Freaky Louie does box art when he sends you stuff. He's a fantastic artist, and he knows that I'm a big Darkseid and DC fan. So he actually drew the one panel that Darkseid appeared in, and he changed his dialogue to say, "We are Legion." So Morgan Edge reaches over and turns on a television computer monitor to see half of Darkseid's face with one panel of dialogue. And that's what the actual panel on the inside looks like. And you can see where this was on a mailer that I just cut it off and threw the rest of the mailer away. And you can see where my mailman sucks, and he wedged it into my mailbox when it was raining. That was like the end of it.
Darkseid is.
Yeah, my mailman's a bastard. All right.
That's a big boy book right there.
It's a good one to have. It's severely undervalued. I mean, it wasn't cheap, but I intentionally looked for a CBCS in it because the market's kind of was crazy on it when I was trying to finish it out, because that was like the last DC Kirby book that I needed. And I'm like, wait a minute, if you look for CBCS books, you get them cheaper. And sure enough, I did.
Not so much anymore, but
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah. So let's talk about some TV show properties. We have the Titan show going strong. We've got the Red Hood is making a killing in that show. Literally, that's what he does. So the next book, this is I think the first CGC purchase book off of eBay, because I haven't been eBaying long either. I don't trust places like that. Seems shady. But this is a Batman 357 and a 9.0. That's the first appearance of Jason Todd as well as Killer Croc. So this is a newsstand copy, which this is past that point where newsstands were the common thread. Because people don't get that. If you go back to stuff like this, they should all be newsstands. When you get to the early 70s, you don't have shops yet. So all these newsstands, you might not be buying the rare one most of the time when you go
a newsstand really below a 9.6 isn't really much of that big of a deal, but
no. But also, that's how all comics were sold for the longest time until the mid 70s is when shops started to bloom. So even in the 80s, that newsstand Secret Wars 8, that's still not like those are rare. Like that's probably half of them. It's probably a clean
more. It's just that's where especially it's the higher where you get into the high grade that's more important because those newsstand ones took a beating and everything else. But yeah, this is the debate. This is one of those ones. It's credited by CGC on the label as being the first full appearance of Killer Croc, but it's a debatable one because the reality is that his appearance in this book and his first cameo appearance are basically the same.
And you don't get to see him fully in this book. I have read this book. He's walking around with his fedora and trench coat on and all that.
Yeah, I just picked my copy up. I picked up a 9.6 the other day, but it's just off camera. But
yeah. Well, we don't believe you till we see it. Anyways, this has a Jerry Conway story.
It's about you and your slabs, not me and mine.
This does have the Atari insert included in it.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's good to have because there's a lot of books that have those little knickknacks that you won't even know. Like if you found this in the wild, would you even know to look for an Atari insert in it?
I didn't until I got my slab and it had that comment on there that it was in there, and I was like, "Oh, damn!"
Oh, well, thank God. Yeah. So of course, this is Jason's original origin. So if you're a Jason Todd enthusiast,
redheaded Jason Todd,
the Dick Grayson knockoff, where he's literally a trapeze artist with the Todd family, like the Grayson family, and talk about lazy writing there, Jerry. But Starling fixed it.
We're looking to replace him. What should we do? Oh, let's just
make him a crackhead stealing the tires off the Batmobile. So keeping with the TV shows here, this one's coming up fairly soon, I think. And being such a big Hulk fan, I bought this the same time I got that Ghost Rider #1, and had this one cleaned and pressed and sent off to CGC myself. I sent it over there to California, right by you, literally right by you this time, Rob. No BS to get cleaned and pressed. And then it came all the way back over here to CGC. And this is a Savage SheHulk #1 in a newsstand in a 9.2.
Nice.
So this is an awesome one to have.
Big boy book.
That's not a cheap book right there, even in that
9.2. It's shot up a little bit in the last 6 months.
And it's going to go up a little. It's going to have another increase as we get closer and trailers start dropping. It's had that initial nudge.
It's just a question of whether or not how well it'll sustain once the show's done.
Yeah, very true. Kind of like those those ASM Carnage books. I expect those to be very affordable.
Well, those
361.
Those have dropped hundreds of dollars since their peak, right?
They probably are going to drop hundreds more since yesterday.
Well, yeah. Well, the 9.8 was originally had hit up to 1,600, and I think now it's only around $1,000 or less. So it's dropped about a third.
That's Savage SheHulk. That is a beautiful cover. One thing I'm enjoying about that cover is it's now being homaged, and especially with female characters, and I'm really happy about that. It's a real nice cover.
It is an homage in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so how close are we about half? Well,
yeah, we're about halfway. I can always grab some more.
Well, no, I'm just because we're about halfway mark. We want to do our first giveaway. So
I got 10 more down here just in hand.
All right, let's do our first giveaway.
Stuff all behind me.
So let me go ahead and add our. There we go. Add our giveaway to the stream here. So we want to go ahead and hit that hashtag We Are Legion. Go ahead and put that in the chat right now, and then we will go ahead and do our giveaway drawing for a random 5-book pull from our pull box. And so go ahead, if you don't mind, hashtag it up, boys and girls. And in honor of Mark, it's going.
Thank you so much.
Hashtag We Are Legion. And while you're at it, if this is your first time ever seen Mark for some strange reason, you will note that down below Mark's information, there's both his Instagram and his YouTube channel. You can click those and open those up in alternative tabs, so that way you can make sure that you subscribe to Mark on both Instagram and YouTube if you so choose, as well as Chris. His information's there too, by the way. Don't forget him.
Or if you don't want to subscribe to Chris, you can still
well,
hang out with him every Sunday night on At Week's End, the
That's
spoiler
right.
filled back at This Week in Comics
Because
More.
even though Mark is at 1,000 subscribers, Chris is on the road to 500 now. So how close are you, Mark or Chris? I saw the post go up, but
Yep. That's why to be honest, like Rob touched on the fact I was a little late joining the guys today, but that's basically what I was doing. I was uploading Road to 500 video and onto Instagram as well. I believe this morning I was at 413 before all this went down. So we'll see.
Good.
And
All
the video that's up there, make sure if you watch it, make sure everyone that you pay close attention, because there's something special in the middle of that video.
cool.
You shouldn't have told
All right.
him.
No.
Why would
Let
you
me
go
go
ahead
ahead
and
and
tell him what
I'm
it
going
is,
to go ahead
Chris?
and give us our countdown.
Mark
here.
wants it all for himself.
6, 5, 4,
7, 13,
3,
11,
2,
4,
1,
17.
and 0. All right, let's go ahead and hit this. Collect ours up. 17, and let's draw. Who will our winner be?
I hope I win. What will I win if I win?
It's a 5-book random pull from the box of
And-
pull list.
Just
Yeah.
a bunch of We Are Legion stickers.
Yeah, there you go, Beckerman. Yes, for the win.
All right,
Awesome.
maybe we'll get him some Batman or something.
Becker is a
That's
member of
Superman.
the Legion. So if y'all don't know my channel, it does have a join button now where you can actually join for extra perks and bonuses. And Becker, as well as Rob and Chris, are all members of the Legion. Nav is as well, who's in the chat. Thank you guys so much for joining.
All right, Mark, as our guest here, the way we do this is we pick you can pick either a number from the front, a number from the back, or we can do random back and forth and stop.
Do you know how many are in there?
I don't know. It changes every week. Sometimes I add books. Sometimes every week we're giving away books, whatever else. But so just you can either give us a number from the front, the back, or we can go back and forth. You tell me how you want to give away the first book here.
That looks like 24 books. So I like to get the 23rd book from the front. I'm just kidding. Let's get the second one from the back, please. The second one from the back.
Okay. Second book from the back, we have ourselves
Mark's snap was quite refreshing.
Black Adam
Oh.
number 5. Look at
Wow.
that cover.
Appropriate.
That's an awesome
Yes,
cover there.
you are welcome, Becker.
Awesome.
That's a-
good.
Badass cover, too.
I know that it really is. That's a freaking awesome cover.
Look at that. The lightning bolt coming down and that nice zigzag. He's got these sweet boots on.
That's right. Pirate
He's like
boots.
screaming to the gods, accept this limp body as tribute.
All right, next
Up
pull.
here in Alberta.
How do you want to do the next one? He gets 5 pulls.
Same thing, but from the front.
Okay, second one from the front.
Yeah. And just keep alternating it.
Web of Spider-Man.
That's a
Ooh,
gorgeous looking cover, too.
Yeah.
The prune face variant. It almost looks like a Dick Tracy villain.
Yeah, Vulture, man, that
right.
might be David Finch. Just looking at that.
Are you're gonna continue with the second now from the back, or are you gonna
Let's
do a
do
different
third.
number?
Let's do third from
Third,
the back.
okay.
Because there's not a
1.
second from the back anymore. We just pulled
No.
it.
Right, exactly. X Factor number 71, the first appearance of the new
Ooh.
X Factor team featuring Havoc, Madrox,
Guido.
Polaris, Strong Guy, and Wolfsbane.
Yeah, Wolfsbane. Yeah.
Strong
Yeah, you're welcome.
guy.
Yeah, his name's Guido. Call it like it is. It literally is. His name's Guido. I have that toy still from being a kid.
All right,
Bottom
so
right.
we're doing the third from the front because the second from the front's already missing.
Yes, sir.
All right, good. This one here, we got ourselves a landscape cover.
I've got that. Yeah,
The
that
Incredible
strip
Hulk,
look.
Ghosts of the Future, with our buddy there, the Maestro. Whatever. All
See,
right,
I got that book not long ago for $1 out of the back issues at Second and Charles because I love getting all those random Maestro appearances.
all right, for this last
I have
book,
no idea who he's talking about. Okay.
Last
Oh,
book. I'm just going
let's
to
do a
go.
random pool. Yeah, I'll tell you when to
You
stop.
just tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Oh, Ravage 2099,
Ooh.
book number 5,
That's the
featuring
key
a
issue.
bonus with SpiderMan 2099.
How appropriate were all these pools other than that vulture? Like they actually like play right into my interest. That's pretty cool.
Cool.
Becker,
All right, so
congratulations. That's awesome. Thank you, Rob, for supplying the people watching
Yeah.
for these cool opportunities.
So Becker, what you got to do is you need to reach out to me either on Instagram or at robs.fatstax@gmail.com and get me your shipping information, and we will get that out to you in Monday's mail.
Yep. I'd expect to hear from him on Instagram. He's on there with us.
That is fine. And if you don't know, my Instagram link is down below. All right. Next up, Mark, let's make you big again, sir. 'Cause
Okay.
You are back on deck. And guys, don't leave just because obviously Mark's got a lot more slabs to show off. Not giveaway, show off. But we will have another 5-book pull at the end here.
Yeah, I'm not giving shit away.
Thanks, Shop.
All right, next up, we're going to take it back to DC. We're going to switch it up here and keep it with the CGC. We've seen plenty of CBCS for right now. So let's stick with these blue labels from CGC. And these are those new ones. They got the big grade numbers on them, which I love. And this is probably one of the biggest DC keys for me personally. Like I said, Kirby did amazing things over there. He created so much. And there wasn't one single issue that had more creation in it than New Gods issue number 1. And this is in a 7.5. And this is the first appearance of Orion, Highfather, Light Ray, a bunch of other people, Calibac, Metron. Like this is such a big DC key to have, like for the characters, because they're still around today. They're not going anywhere. And look at the way that that's colored.
It's a beautiful book, but I challenge that book and raise you the Eternals #1.
The Eternals can get bent. That's like after he left here. You know what I mean? Like you can put some
characters are in there,
movie heat on it and everything,
and
but
the Fantastic
no one
Four
even cares
#1
about the Eternals.
I'm
excited
for
for it.
#1.
There's only 4 of them, Chris. There's 4 of them.
There's more characters than just the 4.
For those that don't know, the Eternals and Fantastic Four are not DC, like I was talking about.
Right.
So Chris, when he spends a little more time in comics, he'll be able to differentiate the two. But DC key.
No, this is where Mark was saying, I challenge anyone to find anyone or find any book with more Jack Kirby first appearances in this title. And I see that.
DC, and there's more than 4 in there, so
no one cares about dumb comics.
It could be a close one, but did you know that, like, if you were in the mind of Jack Kirby, like, you can actually draw the connections between the New Gods and the Eternals, where he went from. I know you know this, Chris. We've talked about it.
All joking aside, Mark is absolutely correct. Yes.
Yeah, Jack Kirby wanted to do something that he wasn't able to do, so he low-key did it anyways, despite changing publishers, changing characters' names, and he completed like this huge universe of all this plethora of gods and stuff. And the Eternals is actually connected to the New Gods unofficially.
But to comment on Nav's comment, 2 cool guys, endless bickering.
That's how we roll.
Endless hot bickering.
We don't bicker that much. It's just when we do, it explodes.
Yeah, we have a blast. That's my heterosexual life partner, so we're good. Don't worry.
I'd like to learn more about this DC company. Who are they? They're new guys on the scene, right?
Well, this is a good one to teach people about DC. Like everyone knows about Marvel because the MCU. You got Captain America with his iconic shield, Thor with his iconic hammer, and if he be worthy, and Cap getting to pick it up and all that. But before they ever did the fan service of letting us see Steve Rogers wield that hammer, my main man with pots and pans really showed him what time it was. And no better way than George Perez in Avengers Justice League of America crossover. And that's just one of the coolest covers I've ever seen, with Superman standing on the moon, this gorgeous wraparound.
Wouldn't Superman become weakened by holding a magical hammer?
No, I think he would be in like, he's not hurt in the presence of magic. He's just susceptible to magic. So being susceptible
if he
to it,
dropped the hammer on his toe, he would he would.
It would
actually have to
probably hurt him. He'd
break
feel
his
it.
toe,
Yeah.
maybe.
It would
okay.
hurt.
But
But
so, like,
yes.
being that he's susceptible to magic, that means the hammer could power him up also, and it wouldn't just be like him holding it or hurting him. But so that's just wow. I mean, y'all see that?
It's iconic. The
That's
cool
insane.
thing about that series is all the other issue covers, or the covers that for the other issues, are
Classic.
excellent as well. Obviously,
It's
they don't hold the
everybody's name.
torch to Kal-El picking up Mjolnir, but yeah, that whole JLA Avengers run there was just terrific, and
So
the
it was
fact that
written by
they
Kurt
had
Busiek. Yeah.
the fact they had Perez doing it as well was just icing on the cake.
Yeah, it was written by Kurt Busiek and Perez. So Perez is known for doing these huge covers where he puts as many characters in as he can. He loves drawing just everybody in it, and that's how all the other covers were. But I don't know if you can see it, but even his eyes are charged up red. Like, it's game
true.
time.
Actually, it would just turn him into Thor. So really, the question?
I believe it was just essentially he just used it as the weapon itself, as opposed to getting the power.
If it gives him the power of Thor, does it make him Thor? And therefore, is Thor more powerful or less powerful than Superman?
I don't know, just gives you the power of Thor. I guess like Superman can now cast lightning bolts and create cumulonimbus clouds.
Oh, so he's Captain Marvel now. Okay, cool.
Yeah, pretty much. So this one is this is a CPR story now. This is a clean and press story. So I got this book for free 99, did not have to pay for it without stealing it, which is a huge change. And I sent it off to CBCS, came back a 5.0. Graders notes all over. Like, man, that's not right. Even the shop owners, like, dude, they baptized that book. And so I decided to get it cracked, send it over there next to you, Rob, and have him work on it, and then submit it to CGC, because at this point, from what I'd seen, CGC was not harsher. They were kind of more lenient with their grades. I know that's a debatable thing. Different people have different experiences, but at the time, that's what my experience was showing. And even then, that can shift, like for me, depending on who's grading the books and whatever. So I had it cracked, pressed, and resubmitted, had it CPR'd, and I had it sent to CGC. It came back an 8.0. From a 5.0 to an 8.0, that's 6 grade bumps.
Right.
Which is almost unheard of. That's crazy awesome. And this is a Caliber Presents #1 from Caliber Press Publishers and all that, or Caliber Publishing. And for those that don't know, this is the actual first appearance of the Crow inside the book, not just on the back cover, but this is before he had his own title. And this is the first appearance of the Crow, which, as you can see, I'm a fan of the Crow. Love me some Crow. Yeah, he's fantastic. That came out while I was a kid, so that was very appealing. Like another one of those taboo things. You're dealing with death and gothic stuff, and it's the early mid '90s and everything. So it was just, I don't know, just drew you in as a kid. But I love that cover. All the little fire demons.
Hey, that's great that you got those grade bumps there. Because I'll tell you, I just opened up a submission, not the bash, that were pressed all by the same cat presser, and the 10-book run. 9 of them have graders, or 8 of them have graders notes that call out that there's issues with things that were all pressable, basically. And it's like, that's just awful.
Yeah.
Anyways,
the cool thing about Eric Draven as a character, the older I get, the more respect that character seems to get. So good for you, Mark, for having the first appearance of the Crow. And with that being said, the creator too is James O'Barr.
Yes.
He seems to be getting a lot more respect too in and around pulp culture as well. So yeah, a lot of people have a lot of respect for the Crow, and we're introduced to it through Brandon Lee's film, obviously. But yeah, he was a comic book character long before the film, and the fact it's getting more and more respect. The further away we get from Brandon Lee's initial film is just great news for me as someone that, really respected Brandon Lee, then that film, and then educated myself about the character afterwards.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Speaking of first appearances, I have the first appearance of my favorite X-Men character. And this is from 1990. And we're not causing any controversy here. We're just telling it like it is. We're talking facts, hard facts.
Does it have something to do with Arthur Adams?
Yes, it does, my good sir. This is X-Men Annual number 14, the first appearance of Gambit, and that is not debatable. Words have
Agreed.
usages, people, and we have to agree on the usages. This is the
Agreed.
first appearance of Gambit. And it's a Fantastic Four and Ahab appearance. It says Gambit cameo predates Uncanny X-Men 266, pinup by Kevin Knoll and Michael Golden. Well, let me tell you something. This is not a cameo by no stretch of the imagination. He's in about, 47 panels with dialogue, fight scenes, everything. They just put that word on there just to split the market instead of saying first chronological appearance. Yeah,
if we're calling this a cameo, what Mark has in his hand, by no stretch of the imagination, is not a cameo.
If 180 is a cameo, this is the first standalone series.
I agree.
This is one of those books. It's a situation of, at the time, Marvel, when things actually hit the street versus when they were planned to be released, did not align, and so they try to retroactively correct some of that with some wording, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's simple. You just put first chronological appearance of Gambit. If you don't want to contribute it to his, because they do have these words in the market like cameo, full, stuff like that. So if you don't want to try to change the market that's established and make this his first full appearance, you just put first chronological appearance. We saw it happen with that free comic book days for SpiderMan with Virus, where there's a hiccup in distribution. So why are they putting this stupid crap on these labels and just lying to people? This isn't a cameo. And I have so many conversations with people, and I'm like, dude, it's his first appearance. It's not his cameo. It was a distribution error. They're like, no, you just say that because you own the book and you want it to be his first appearance. I'm like, well, maybe I do own the book and I want it to be his first appearance, but I'm not going to make that argument unless I'm qualified to make that argument. Because we have right here X-Men 266 and a 9.6, and the only thing that got the 9.6 is you can see it's a slight misrap, which when you're talking always on but slightly off like that, I can relate to this book.
That is cut pretty badly. It's I didn't know
it's
you spelled
uncanny with an I.
Yeah, I was just about to say I didn't know you spelled uncanny with an I.
All right, so I'll give you the monthly year X-Men annual. Yeah, this is July of 1990. This was on shelves. This is August of 1990. This has the month on it, but for some reason CGC doesn't put the month on this one. I just know it is, but all they have is the year. Because it's an annual. Mm-hmm. No, because they don't want to get caught out on their BS. How are they going to sit there and say, if you put the month on both of them, it kind of is like, wait a minute, we look stupid here. But yeah, I love this book. I got this book for I think $60. It's definitely not a $60 book. You're gonna have to come with a lot more schmeckles than that.
No, Mark, you said 60 graded or 60 raw?
60 raw, self-submitted. Okay.
Yep. Very good. So
I have less than $100 into this book.
So you read the label on the Arthur Adams cover for the annual. Can you read what's listed on that one then?
First full appearance of Gambit, Mystique appearance.
Yeah, see, that's not right. That's the second appearance of appearance, also featuring Mystique.
I got a second appearance, like the book that's actually credited with his second appearance. It's 267.
So that's because that's the whole thing with that book was released in June, even though it has the August. The August is the cover date, but the book was released in June, which is the whereas the annual 14 was on August.
Mm-hmm. It was all messed up. All messed up. So guys, that is it. That is all today for the blue labels. Time to switch over. We're going yellow label from here on out. So first up, we're going to change up. So for those in the chat, most everyone in the chat probably knows, but with CBCS, they offer a signature verification process where with the other company, you obviously have to get the signatures witnessed by a certified CGC witness and submitted immediately. But with CBCS, you can have something signed and you can send it off to them and they'll run it through their computer data bank and let their matrix tell them if it's real or not. And that's what I had done with this because I ordered it straight from the Alex Ross website. And this is the Immortal Hulk issue number 20. in a CBCS 9.8 signed for a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive.
Nice. Oh, that is a beautiful cover.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
Alex Ross. I mean, how often do you say that about Alex Ross? Okay, on every cover, but
every cover,
I mean,
not a
Well, he's
single
the
one. you don't.
master.
yeah,
Yeah.
really, I'd like to. I would like to see a shitty Alex Ross cover, just because it might be worth something.
Yeah,
because
don't
it's,
think
it's
I
such
don't
a
think it
rarity.
exists, but yes, yeah, we're talking about the master.
Yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
there's nobody that does what Alex Ross does.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Me and Chris
No.
were talking about this. Like, it is possible to have multiple favorite artists because you cannot
Yeah.
compare. They're different genres of art. But man, if this
And
isn't
times
an
as
amazing
well.
cover.
Mhm.
What I always love with Alex Ross is the attention that he takes with the way that lighting reflects off of different surfaces,
Mhm.
and also if you all that's
And
the
mirrors.
the shadowing
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
lighting and mirrored surfaces and all those things.
Yeah.
Nobody does quite the way that he does. Yeah.
So this was an A and B cover for the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. I have them both signed in a CBCS 9.8, but I only pulled that one out because Chris said something about the SheHulk homage, and I'm like, there's the Incredible Hulk #1 recreation. I wouldn't even call it an
Mhm.
homage. Right? That's just a straight recreation.
Yep.
But I promised y'all multiple Power Ranger books. Y'all are going to get multiple Power Ranger books today.
Just
We
say the
have-
artist.
Yeah, we'll get there. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers TMNT issue #1, and this is it's an exclusive of some kind. It's a Scorpion Comics convention exclusive. So they did like 800 of these covers, but then if you went to this con, it was the C2E2 2020 exclusive. I think there was only 150 of these made. 100 or 150, and this is signed with the Clayton Crane Infinity signature and a 9.8 of the Turtles and the Power Rangers. And there's another body dysmorphia leg there with the Pink Ranger, Rob.
Yeah.
But that's
It
a
works though.
it does. It really does. So this, I actually have this in an art print as well, signed by Clayton Crane, personalized to Finn, and it's hanging in his room. It was his first art piece. And then the same book, the exact same book, because I told you I'm a Power Ranger guy. This is a Black Cape Comics exclusive by one of my personal favorite artists today, and that's John Jang, and it's signed in a 9.8. And this is awesome with the Turtles just looking up from street level at the Dragon Zord.
It's tough to see. Can you
Yeah,
tilt it back maybe a little bit and see? Yeah,
it's a real dim
yeah.
image. Yeah.
Yeah, the darker covers are really. That is a good. There you go.
That's
That's a
so
good.
cool. And like, it's not the best transfer either. You know, sometimes it's going to be on the actual transfer of the art image to paper. It's definitely not the best transfer, but you have the three turtles down here. But of course, Raph is hot-headed, just jumping at it. So I absolutely thought that image was great. The Green Ranger, like I mentioned earlier, is like my favorite Ranger. So just such a cool cover.
He's such an incredible artist, but his autograph leaves something to be desired.
Well, it could be
Not
worse.
me.
He's no Frank Miller.
So like a big issue for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was issue 40 when they finally brought the White Ranger in, who was like another fan favorite. And Scorpion Comics does a lot of Clayton Crane stuff, and this is the Clayton Crane exclusive for that. But again, this is the convention exclusive that's super duper low numbered. And this one is double signed by not just Clayton Crane, but Jason David Frank, who played the White Ranger. So the cover almost looks just like the other one, except the background is blurred, and it's just like you can see the eyeballs from his Tiger Zord. In the other cover, you can see the Tiger Zord like he's coming out of the walkway in its mouth. But yeah, that one goes for like $350 now. I got this one for $100. With the regular one for $60, it goes for a couple $100. Like all these slabs I have, I scored for deals. I don't pay a lot for any of them. I mean, I'm willing to spend a lot of money, but it has to be undervalued, right? I don't know. I feel guilty for paying like, I don't know. I feel like a duck. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be that guy that everyone's looking for. I hope Mark buys this so I make all this extra money. I just feel weird about being that guy. But we saw the White Ranger, we saw the Turtles, we saw the team, Clayton Crane signing on all of them. And what Crane collection wouldn't be complete without the Green Ranger one? And this is the most limited one that they made. There was only like 80 of these made. It's something ridiculously low. But my good friend in Belgium over there next to Rob, because he's in Romania, so he's close to my friend Bart in Belgium. knew I was looking for this. He found it and scooped it up for me while I was at work. And then it was awesome. So this is definitely probably my favorite one. You can see he signed it in green at the top.
Is that Grimlock back there?
Yeah, it could be. That's my favorite. If you want to talk like if it's not Slab, but we can pull out Jang books. He crushed those Transformer covers. He did a Grimlock one. It's amazing.
That's a beautiful cover.
It really is. It really is. So we're down to the final one I have right here next to me. I see that Austin LeMay's here, and this is actually one of his covers. This is an Austin LeMay original. And I actually won this in Panda's 500 subscriber giveaway. This is a 1 of 1, yes. So this is on issue number 1 of Punchline, that one shot that they did. And this is signed and sketched.
Taylor just logged off.
Yeah, that's fine. This is signed and sketched by Austin LeMay on December 27th of 2020. And that's, boom, hashtag Austin over Peach.
Nice.
That beautiful signature down there.
What I really like about that one is I've seen a lot of sketch covers of Punchline or other just sketch covers in general. I do like when an artist takes a moment and draws something other than just a profile, a simple profile. I mean, the profiles are really quick and easy to do because you don't have to worry about balancing and all the other stuff. So I really love and appreciate a sketch cover like that where the artist takes the time to do a front-on view of the character.
Yeah.
That's great.
And like he like his art style is like this. It's the same, but you can see where he does like different things inside of his own art style. And he was doing like this kind of run on very minimalistic stuff.
Yeah.
And that's just fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The eyes draw you in right away.
I'll take it off your hands. I'll take it off your hands and
got
put
the
it on
little
the wall.
freckles and everything. Look at that. And like look in the hair, the little line work detail in the hair and stuff. Yeah, it's just very, very good.
Yeah.
Very good. So that was the last one that I had next to me. Again, I can just pull stuff, whatever you want to do.
Well, you might as well pull those two on that lower shelf off, just because they're right above it, the shelf, as opposed to the ledge. There you go.
This could go bad.
We don't want to pull anything off your wainscoting.
Yep, my wainscoting. So that's an old label in an old case for an Incredible Hulk, issue number 180, the first appearance of Wolverine. More importantly, win prizes and make friends.
That's right. That's the important thing.
That's
you
what
should
we're all
crack
here
that
for.
open and cut that out so that way you can send that in.
Oh, you can actually get into this one. I'm in there.
Yeah, get in there and go ahead and cut that out so you can send that in. That'd be great.
So yeah, that's a 100% intact book. It presents very well. I can look at this one and tell that it hasn't been cleaned and pressed. We had a con here locally this past summer, and I went with hoping that I was going to get like some early Tales to Astonish or fill some holes in my Hulk run. And they had issue 4 and 5 of the original 6. And I really wanted one, but the guy was, I don't know, he was like on bath salts or something with his prices. So I ended up passing on it.
Bath salts.
And
I hate when dealers are like that.
That's one you don't hear as often, but I do appreciate that.
I'm really close to Florida. But so I went into a local shop here like 3 days after the con, and this was on the shelf, and it just went up there that day. And I'm like, oh snap, let me see that. And I was looking at it, and I asked him, I'm like, you do layaway, right? He's like, I do, but I can't on this item because it's a consignment. I'm like, okay. And then he told me like 2 other people asked about the layaway that day. And as he's telling me that, the door rings and a guy walks in and goes, that's one of the 2 guys that asked about the layaway. And as soon as I looked up, the guy's already locked eyes with me. Like I'm at the counter. He's walking the doors, locked on him. He's like, you don't want that book. I'm like, what? He goes, you don't want that book. So obviously he came in. He couldn't do layaway, so he left to get some money in order. And I'm like, bro, don't walk in this shop if you ain't ready. So I just handed it to the guy at the checkout. I said, I'll take it. Like, I broke the dude's heart and just bought it right there.
Savage.
Like, what?
Fucking LCS wars.
Yeah, it worked out very, very well. You know what I'm saying? So moral of the story is don't walk into your LCS unless you are ready to buy what you want. I'm just kidding. Go in there, support them any way you can. But don't let me beat you there.
Now, Mark, with that being said, were you going to buy that book at that moment because he didn't offer layaway, or was it because of the fact he had competition coming in?
No, I
Okay.
wasn't leaving without that book.
All right.
I love to support local. I love to buy stuff. Like that's why, like if you watch my channel, you'll see like me pull like random keys. Like there's not necessarily like a lot of order to it. Like Rob, what I was mentioning to you before we went live. You know what I mean? It was the right time and place, so I jumped on it. It's stuff that I would love to own. I don't necessarily own. I plan on owning one day, but the way that I collect, I've got so many local shops to support that sometimes it's just fun just to see how like fate works out for you. Like, what does fate offer me today? Thank you, fate. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you might not have faith in fate, but my man Fate has faith in you. You know what I'm talking about? So this is Incredible Hulk 102, the finale to the.
Are you sure?
182, the finale to the Wolverine trilogy. There, the first appearance of Hammer and Anvil or something like that. Yeah.
That's why it's an important book right there.
Yeah.
Well, the death of Cracker Jack Jackson. No, it's the death of Cracker Jack Jackson is the
triple
important
key.
part.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Triple
I forgot
key.
about that.
Yeah. So that's what rounds off the Wolverine trilogy. And for those that don't know, I'm trying to fill out the issue 102 to 199 to finish my Incredible Hulk run minus the first 6. And I am collecting Tales to Astonish, but from 102 to current, I'm probably about 20 to 30 books shy of having it complete from 102 to current, which isn't bad. Which is not bad.
It's okay,
at all.
Pecker. He's from Georgia, so.
Homespun wisdom, yeah. Spun is the key word in that. So this is the prize of my possession right now. Until I own an Incredible Hulk #1, this is the most high-valued Incredible Hulk book that I own, and so it's the gem in my collection. I absolutely love this book. It's an iconic cover. I mean,
I've seen it a few times, but I can't remember. What's the big deal about that book?
Oh, it's it's got a cool fight scene in it, but it's got Wendigo in it. Like,
yeah. I forgot how big.
It's Canadian on many fronts. That's why the book is so popular.
This is the first full story Wolverine issue, is what's big about this. So you had his first appearance.
His second appearance.
Wolverine, I've heard about that, yeah.
You had his first appearance in 180, then you had his first full story in 181. So we're going by the true standards here for this show today. But if you want to get stupid with it, it's the first full appearance of Wolverine because they didn't show. They showed him from the front.
Accepted as such, yes.
Yeah. So this is the first full appearance of Wolverine. And this book, I actually bought about 75% of it with change. So like I don't spend change ever. Like if something is $10.01, I've got.
Mark, what do you have against change?
I don't. I love
change. Why are
change.
you so rooted in your way?
I don't spend it. It's a savings method. Like I don't spend change, and I just put it in roll myself when I just have a little time here and there, and I just save it up. So I did that, and by the time that I spent it, this had came around. This was actually the third attempt at a local pickup on one. I was 2 hours late to one shop that had it, and when I saw it, he's like, "There's one guy coming to check it out to see if he wants it." That guy ended up buying it. The second one, the shop owner reached out to me, said 181's on the way. I'll let you know if I seal the deal. I'm like, awesome. The guy got cold feet, didn't sell it. Then I actually bought this from my LCS owner, Paul. So it's almost like it like that. This was the one for me. Me and my LCS are really close. The owner's known like my family before I was born. So it worked out great. I bought it for right at fair market value when it came out, or when I purchased it, and it's more than doubled since then.
Wonderful, Mark.
It's quite the crown jewel.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great place to top off today's show. There, that is an awesome trilogy to end that with. Thank you very much for coming on and sharing your books. I think everybody. Did you snipe that book from another sad wannabe buyer too?
No, like that day was just me and the owner. This was like during like the beginning of the full lockdown of COVID too. So I would just go to the LCS and just like be sitting in there, just us, and it was a good time.
All right, great. Well, we got another giveaway to do. So let me bring in the magic tool here, and this time hashtag real time. So that's another one of Mark's favorite sad expressions to make himself feel important.
Oh yeah.
Hashtag real time.
Dude, if you're not going to make yourself feel important, don't make other people think they have to.
I generally self-deprecate. Makes me feel better. I don't
Yeah,
know.
see, same thing. Same
Yeah.
thing.
This is a mastercraft, everyone, of how these two men think about themselves.
Yeah.
I have high opinions. Don't worry. At least of me. Low opinions of everyone else. I learned that from Taylor.
See
Would
the
love
chat
Taylor.
exploding.
So Marcus,
With
while we're collecting that,
hashtag real time.
what you got going on here coming up in the next couple days?
Tomorrow I've got a live show tomorrow night at 9 p.m. real time. Me, new guy Ryan, as well as Chris the comic vet over there, do a weekly wrap-up show where we take a look and talk about all the things from the week. And we had an amazing episode of What If to talk about. There's the new episode of Titans and Stargirl that they give me no help with. We have the new Venom movie. A bunch of good books came out.
Deprecate, Lex Crucius.
Yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff to talk about, but we do that every week. So feel free to come by, hang out, and everything. There's a lot of I have like almost daily content on my channel, as well as I just launched the membership for my channel. If you want to consider joining, there's all kinds of cool stuff to go with that, and it'd be really cool. I did get sponsored here recently by Big Time Collectibles, so I'll be doing a monthly giveaway for the channel members.
Let's pause that for a second. I think we've got ourselves some time. Let's go ahead and do the giveaway. Great segue. We have 20 entries.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Let's draw and see what we got. Look at that. We brought in a big time guest, and we got some big time viewers. And
Chop and drop.
All right.
2013. Congratulations, sir.
Congrats, man.
Congrats. Awesome.
Indeed. All right. Let me go ahead and make myself big, and let's go ahead and see what Chop and Drop gets from the box of goodies. All right, Chris.
I'm excited to see what he pulls.
How do you want to do it, sir?
All right.
Please don't do your 20 from the front and 20 from the back.
I was going to go 21, but since you're self-deprecating, we're going to go 5 from the front.
4, 5. All right, number 5. We have a recent one. We have the Batman Secret Files Clown Hunter, the minimal trade variant. Congratulations, sir.
All right. I believe Chop and Drop's number's 2013. So if we add up those digits, that's 6. How about we go 6 from the other direction?
2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 book out. Oops, 6 book out. 10 of Swords. This is
cool.
Stasis.
Very cool. Very cool.
All right.
Some Wolverine there. All right, let's go front to back.
Older books here. Okay.
Let's go front to back. And now.
Ooh. How about One More Day?
Oh no! Oh no! What a rough one there. It's highly regarded as trash.
But it does
but
have
there's a
some
little bit
spec
of
value
spec
right
to it.
now.
Yeah.
It has no first appearances or keys. I guess story
Now.
it was.
Okay, Detective Comics 660. We have some Bane and Killer Croc, and
That's a cool cover. Who did the art on that? Does it say?
I can't read it.
Okay.
All right, we
Stop
have
and Drop is correct. Spider-Man is never trash.
one more book.
Unless it's Nick
You
Spencer.
want to do back and forth on this one too?
Why don't we go 13 from the front in honor of his 2013 handle?
Jesus
5,
Christ.
6,
Rob, count that high?
7,
You don't
8,
even believe in
9,
Jesus Christ.
10, 11, 12, 13.
I also use the term holy cow, and I don't think they're holy, so.
Yes, but a
How
race of
about
people
some
do.
Return of Wolverine.
I'm sensing a flavor with these picks, but that's
Is
a
it-
fire cover.
Is it cherry?
It's a Canadian.
Oh,
Very good. Congratulations there, sir. This is an Addy Granoff.
Oh,
That is a nice
I do enjoy Addy Granoff. Congratulations to you, sir. Chop and Drop. Make sure you reach out to me again, either Instagram or via email at robs.fatstax gmail.com. And give me your address and we'll ship those out for you. Congratulations, sir. Folks, I want to thank again Mark for joining us on Slab Hub, hashtag We Are Legion. Make sure you checking him out. Chris the Comic Vet with me as always every week. Make sure you check out him. And next week, Nikki 9.5 is going to be on here to join us. Nick Hicks and Comics. Going to bring on some slabs. Somehow magically he's promised 30 slabs that are all graded 9.5.
9.5?
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
That just hit me. All right.
So
that's considered Jim Mint with Nick. Yeah.
So Nick's Kicks and Comics will be joining us next week on the show. Until next time, guys, collect what you want. Don't listen to, well, I'm me because I'm the only fat man here with a fat stack of comics and a fat opinion. Thanks all for watching very much. Appreciate it.